Welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here with David Clement. He is the North American Affairs Manager of the Consumer Choice Center. David, I guess part of the issue, though, is that uh, you're basically advocating for consumer choice,
Mhm.
trumping, pardon the pun,
Yeah,
the idea of at least sending a message to the
sure.
Americans. So why is that important, do you think?
Because I trust Canadians to send the message that they see fit. I mean, if we look at the tariff revenue that was generated, I believe in March, it was it was pretty high, which shows that depending on the products, Canadians are or are not going to send a message. With travel, look at a city like Las Vegas. We're the number one tourist group to go to Las Vegas. The industry is struggling, the city is struggling because we're not going. But all of that happened without the government saying you can't go to Las Vegas anymore,
Right.
right? So I just trust Canadians to be able to make that call for themselves and let the cards fall where they may, but at least we're treating adults like adults and saying, all right, whatever you think best suits your needs and wants, we'll leave it to you, just like we do for everything else.
And I'm presuming, and maybe you correct me if I'm wrong, that the premiers of Alberta and Saskatchewan, that their message is, look, we trust you to make some decisions. Plus, we don't want to add an irritant as we're
Yeah.
renegotiating USMCA.
Yeah, and it shows the differences in approach between somebody like Doug Ford and someone like Danielle Smith, and she maybe got a lot of criticism for not being kind of part of Team Canada. That's how it was phrased. But I think she has probably a more realistic view on this in saying, why would we want to continue to poke the bear and make this worse? And when you factor in potentially violating USMCA, that is a big problem because both countries are now reviewing the USMCA. We have to renegotiate it. It's immensely important for the Canadian economy that something resembling the USMCA comes out of it. And anything that makes that harder, I think, is just not something we should pursue.
Gotcha. Speaking of Premier Doug Ford,
Hmm.
what do you make of Doug Ford's reaction to Diageo during the closing the
Hmm.
Crown Royal bottling plant?
It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
Why do you say that?
So it was closing one bottling plant. All Crown Royal consumed in Canada will still be bottled in Canada. It's just going to be bottled in Quebec. So yes, it's not Ontario, but the Quebecois are also our fellow compatriots. Like
Mhm, mhm.
that's okay. It's a good thing. Second, every ounce of Crown Royal is made in Canada. This is a Canadian product. The ingredients are from Canada. It's made in Gimli, Manitoba. It's stored in Manitoba. It's aged in Manitoba. And so it's almost as if Doug Ford just had that tunnel vision as in everything is kind of US centric, forgetting the fact that this is a Canadian product made by Canadians with Canadian ingredients. And so it seemed like he really missed the moment in trying to do what he would usually do in response to Trump, which is some big gesture. But at the end of the day, all he's doing in alluding to potential boycotts and things like that is hurting a Canadian brand and Canadian workers.
So do you think that it's going to be not useful then, that this was just for the cameras, or how do you characterize this?
Well, it depends on how much weight he wants to give it moving forward. I think it will probably fizzle um, because very quickly it was pointed out across various levels of the media, whether it's the Toronto Star or the National Post. It's like, wait a second, we're talking about a Canadian product, and all Canadian products going to be
Right.
bottled here anyways. So it looks more like a business decision rather than not. But at the same time, Doug Ford completely ignored spirits in the modernization plan in Ontario. So it's not like he's created an ecosystem where spirits can thrive because they're not allowed to be sold in convenience stores or gas stations while beer and wine
Right.
can. The
Right.
LCBO,
That's the other aspect of it, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah. So if we had a scenario where we had maybe a little more mature approach to alcohol modernization, retail would be open to all product categories. And maybe they wouldn't be in a position where they're forced to make uncomfortable layoffs and closures. But we we ignored as a province. We ignored spirits in the modernization plan, and so it's ultimately up to them. They have to find cost-saving initiatives, and that happened to be something that wasn't profitable for them.
Yeah, that's a good point. About spirits not being treated the same as other alcohol products. Dave, we're going to take another brief break. We'll be back with you after these messages.